Today we read from the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verses 1 through 18. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Let me turn this one on. Sorry. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the light was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came for testimony, to bear witness to the light, that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came to bear witness to the light. The true light that enlightens every man was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made through him, yet the world knew him not. He came to his own home, and his own people received him not. But to all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave power to become children of God, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, full of grace and truth. We beheld his glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father. John bore witness to him and cried, "This was he of whom I said, he who comes after me ranks before me, for he was before me." And from his fullness have we all received grace upon grace. For the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has seen God, the only Son, who is the bosom of the Father. He has been made known through him. This is the reading of our word.
Thanks be to God.
As you all know, or many of you are aware, I was on vacation at Disney World, and my hope was coming home without a cold. The reality, not so much. There's a reality present within all of our hopes and dreams. Part of our Bible studies challenge today was to think back on the time when you were just on the cusp of adulthood, 17, 18 years old, thinking of what your life would be like, because didn't we all make a plan? Okay, you all are not planners, apparently. If you wing it, I'm impressed. But we all had some idea or hope of what our life would look like. You who are youth also have those ideas. You kind of have the idea of what your first car is going to look like, right? Or when you finally get those keys. Sorry, parents, it's there. The reality, though, became much different because life, in the way life is, gets in the way. It's not this clear-cut, direct, easy, beautiful path, because didn't we all kind of plan out, oh, I'd get this fantastic job, have lots of money, my kids would behave. The reality is really different, isn't it? We are faced, in the beginning of John, with the hope of the people of Israel, all there, built up over not just one or two generations, but hundreds of years. Hundreds, almost thousands of years of hopes. And you know what they got? Reality. Reality in a baby. And if that's not a reality check, I don't know what is. Our sweet, wonderful girls got a puppy for Christmas this year from Santa a little bit early. But that's a reality check, because let me tell you what puppies do at 3 in the morning. They like to wake you up, right? Not much different from your first child, right? And suddenly you go, oh wait, you're on the way home from the hospital and you realize there's something in your arms and you're going, wait a second, now I'm responsible? I have something to do with this? We have an idea of what we expect, what we hope for. And when ideas meet reality, then we got to adjust. We have to adjust. We can either be really excited about whatever the reality may or may not be. We can say, okay, you know what? Not what I expected. But this is a gift. I'm going to keep telling myself that underneath my breath and muttering it for the next 30 years. But this is a gift, and I will love it and live in it. And then, here's the strange thing. Then my hopes and my dreams start to change to meet and match reality. You see, when we don't accept the reality of what is in front of us, we then suffer disappointment, resentment, fear, or guilt. You have to wonder if John, as he's coming out and saying, I am not who you expect or want. I mean, he lays it out there from the beginning, doesn't he? He says, I'm not who you're looking for. And yet you don't also have to wonder if perhaps he felt guilty because he is not who they want or are looking for. That's a reality check. I never liked that term, and yet I use it all the time. Don't you find yourself doing that? Because when we had these hopes and dreams of what our Savior would look like, the people of Israel were expecting the conquering hero. Coming in, able to defeat the Roman army and topple down the empire. Man, oh man, wouldn't that be a sight to see? And yet, what did they get? A baby. Babe born every day. Right? And not even a baby born like in the best of circumstances. I mean, we've heard the story over and over again. We know that although Mary and Joseph were betrothed, that there was a little bit of something going on, that Joseph had to go, okay, wait a second. I gotta understand that this is the Son of God. Wait a second. This is the Son of God. So now you're my wife. And here we go. And we're traveling. Traveling while pregnant is a new reality, y'all. And yet they have this baby. All their hopes and dreams fulfilled in a child. I think that as parents, a lot of times, or as aunts and uncles, as friends who have beloved children, we see that reality. We see the hope of our future in the eyes of the children around us. Perhaps it's something you become more aware of the older you get and the more you let go of your own hopes and dreams and instead build a reality to where their hopes and dreams become possible. That's both a challenge and a calling, isn't it? Particularly in the life of the church. Because we all, particularly in this season, have things that we want to see and want to hear. There was a debate on our Facebook clergy page about whether or not it was Christmas Eve if you did or did not have Silent Night. I mean, could it be a Christmas Eve service without Silent Night? I don't know. I've never done a Christmas Eve service without Silent Night. Hopes and dreams set us up for what we desire to see, and yet often the reality of what God gives us is so much better, and yet we have to set aside those hopes and dreams in order to accept, embrace, and enjoy the reality. That doesn't mean that you can't continue to hope. Because without hope, what do you look forward to? I'm really hopeful for what's under the tree this year, right? I know the reality, y'all. Sweet, wonderful cards of my children's cute drawings, wrapped up with too much tape and 100 bows. That doesn't mean that I can't still hope that one year they'll get it right. Or do I embrace and appreciate the reality of what I've been given? That's our challenge as people of faith, to continue to live hopeful lives, that we will seek and find our Savior in and throughout this season. That will seek Him and find Him in moments of worship, in the bells we hear ringing outside of the grocery store, in the request, in the letters, in the time gathered as family and friends. And then live in the reality, too. The reality that it is not just this time of year when the Savior is present. It is all times of the year. And that the more we seek and find Him intentionally throughout this time, the more we'll seek and find Him the rest of the time. 365 minus the 35, 40 days or so of Advent. That's 325 days, y'all. And our hopes and dreams become fulfilled during this season, and it's up to us to find the reality of Christ in all the others. We're faced with the most of that because we see it, right? I loved that the number one request was that we did this service again. One, because I thought I could get away without preaching. The reality was that if they said no, you need to. And I know that I myself would feel even more odd to not have communion as a part of the service. To not see the symbols on the table of the cup and the bread and the chalice. Because it leads us to one thing, the center of our worship. Center of our worship that began long ago with the birth of our Savior. So during this season, we have two symbols that represent Jesus' birth. We have the scene behind our communion table of Mary, Joseph, and the baby Jesus. And we'll also have the symbol of our empty manger, which I admit and confess that in the midst of all the chaos, we forgot to put out. But that manger remains empty until Christmas Eve, when Christ is born again. And we see all of these symbols, the tree, the evergreens, the wreath, the poinsettias, the lights, the candles, the aisle, the wreaths, and we see it all. To remind us of God's gift to us through the birth of Christ. But we also see this cup and this bread every week. And there is not a time like Advent when the symbols of life and death stand side by side to one another, reminding us that Jesus Christ was born so that he might die. And today I invite you to come forward and partake of communion through intinction. If you need assistance, remain seated and our youth will serve you.